It should have been a lot easier to enroll today. I think I actually had to enroll all of you. You couldn't self-enroll in this course for whatever reason. But you all were able to open up the recording. It's right under the join session. That's where all the recordings are going to get banked. So let's talk about that. If you look to the right of that recording one, if you still have it up, if you don't, just keep this in mind. To the right is the chat box. It does record the chat box and all the questions that people have. So that could be very valuable as we, continue to do instruction throughout the year. That's a new feature for Blackboard Ultra. They didn't have it last year. Van Deventer, and anyone else who may have missed yesterday, you've got to watch that recording one. I only have a few brief words, and then you guys are going to have an algebra review sheet. But please, Van Deventer, you have to watch that first recording if you missed yesterday, and anybody else that may have missed yesterday. You've got to watch that. So this is the advantage, capital THE. This is the advantage of taking an online class. Every day is recorded. There's only one class for Algebra 2, so I'm going to record this one 6-period class every single day. So if you missed class, if you missed part of a class, if you didn't get it, you want to rewatch something, you have 24/7 access to what we did in this class every day. All right, not the third period geometry like last year. Okay, it's just this one class. You're going to be able to come into this class 24/7. Okay, or relive this class 24/7. It's the advantage of an online class. You can watch today's recording, yesterday's recording on May 15th, 2018. Okay, it logs in the same place where you guys do the joint session, logs in the same place going throughout the year. Okay, so you can revisit any previous classes. 100% of my students last year, when we did the pre-AP geometry online, 100% of students access recordings. They had to on Wednesdays when I flipped the classroom because the middle schools were on all different schedules. About 8 were on advisory. The other 8 were on regular. That's changed this year. Everyone's on advisory Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But on those days, everybody had to access recordings. All right. I would say at least half, probably upwards of 2/3 or more, routinely watched recordings, meaning they watched 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 of the classes that week over again. They made it a routine part of just kind of their study habits. A lot of people, and I'll suggest this in the future, a lot of people, it's like, hey, if you want to just, you just grab McDonald's for dinner or something like that, just fire up the thing, don't write a thing, just listen and watch me do problems. Let it kind of sink into your brain, particularly with Algebra 2, as we're going to get into much more involved algebra, multi-step problems, okay, 5, 6, 7-step algebra problems. Sometimes just kind of watch me do it, listen to how I'm talking about it, how I'm thinking about it, let it sink in. If you just want to watch passively. And of course, I recommend watching actively, pausing, trying the problem out on your own before seeing me do it. A lot of students prefer this over tutorials. Tutorials, I'll probably dedicate like Wednesday after school for Algebra 2, although you guys can come on Tuesday and Thursday as well. If there's no geometry, I'll probably take, precedence, but I can help anybody. I mean, I've helped people with different modules of geometry. That'd be the same thing as helping you with an Algebra 2 problem and helping somebody that's on with geometry with a geometry problem. But we'll talk about tutorials later when there's something to tutor. You haven't learned any new content yet. In fact, the algebra review sheet you're going to get in about 5-6 minutes is Algebra 1 level material anyway. So, of course, tutorials are always open, but a lot of students prefer to just watch the recording because there's 24/7 access, and that was what was convenient for them. So here's part of the advantage. Mr. Haran, what did we do yesterday? Mr. Haran, what are we going to do tomorrow? What are we going to do Wednesday, 3 weeks from now? Watch recording. Watch the recording. That's what we did that day. And whatever we're going to do is going to be recorded as well. Mr. Haran or Miss Supervisor, Mrs. Supervisor, can I get the homework from yesterday? Yesterday's homework, sure, but can I get Mondays? Can I get the other handout? Go to the Learning Hub, which is what we're going to do right now. Let's all go to the Learning Hub. What do you guys see under topic 1? Put it in the chat box. What do you guys see in topic 1 under the chat box? Good. Good. Yes, you should see the who I am. All right, this is going to get meta for a second here. Let me go here. All right, so here's the course. This is going to get way more, I don't want to say cluttered. This is going to just be many more files, okay? Topic 1, who I am. All right, in the algebra review you're about to get handed out, is also going to be under the Who I Am. So you're going to have every single handout, every single homework will be on here. Okay, nothing's due yet. We'll worry about scanning and all that stuff soon. So let me stop sharing this. Back to our regularly scheduled program. This is the one thing I don't like about Remind is that you can't just kind of keep the previous PowerPoint up. Oh, yeah, on like slide 12. There we go. So under topic 1. So if you need a handout, of course, like the next day you were sick, your supervisor probably has the handout for the next day. But if you were absent Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, come on, you can't have the supervisor carrying stuff for days on end. Go to the Learning Hub. You're responsible for that. The day you're sick, you come back, you're not necessarily responsible for the material unless it's a review, and we've had a test or quiz scheduled for weeks on the calendar. But otherwise, you're responsible certainly by the evening after the day you came back. Okay, the recordings are there, 24/7 access. The handouts are there, 24/7 access. So that was my shared screen. Here are the materials again. Some people asked for what the materials were again. You don't need this stuff for a couple weeks, but the sooner the better. I mean, you should certainly have a folder right now, or at least a notebook that you're stuffing a few papers. And it's just once the Learning Hub has 7, 8, 10, 12 assignments, which will be very soon, you're going to want or at least a folder, if not a binder, to put it in. Binder's best. The 5 dividers divide up the first and second 6 weeks, second and third 6 weeks, third and fourth 6 weeks. Okay, that's 5 dividers for that. I don't have a divider in my binder for what I had for geometry and what I had when I previously taught algebra 2. Just keep the assignments together and just basically need pencils in this class. So we may need a protractor or something. You're not going to need a compass. Carnegie Learning Books, which we don't have yet, have the 3 holes punched in them already that you can just put right into your binder. Easy peasy. So grades and textbooks. Let's talk about textbooks first. We don't have them yet. We just about got them. The Algebra 2 in particular are late for whatever reason. They're not here yet, even at Liberty High School. So I imagine the middle schools aren't going to have them for a couple of days. We're not going to use them for a few days, so don't worry about it just yet. Plus, we can always use. I have a million resources for Algebra 2, plus all the Liberty resources. So I have a million plus the Liberty resources. We're going to be fine, and we have online access to the textbook, so it's not a problem. And then grades. 20%, whatever you upload on Learning Hub, the homework, the classwork, you guys know this from last year who had me last year, that's 20% of your grade. But 80% of your grade are proctored tests and quizzes. Okay, 30% are going to be the quizzes. There might be like a separate amendment. I haven't looked at the Algebra 2 calendar just yet. Maybe in the 5th, 6 weeks, you have to hand in a project or something. So I'll see that when it comes. But right now, so the first 6 weeks calendar, which is all we should be focused on, it looks like there's 2 quizzes and 2 tests. 2 quizzes, 2 tests. That means that your quizzes are going to be worth about 15% each because there's 2 of them for 6 weeks, and the tests are going to be worth 25% each because there's 2 of them. All right. So 80% of your grades is proctored tests and quizzes. It's similar to a college class. Similar to pre-AP geometry for those that joined me last year. So cell phones are allowed out. Just let the supervisors know cell phones are allowed out. Let's get you guys on Remind. I'm doing this with geometry tomorrow, but we're just kind of thin here for Algebra 2. All right, so if you own a cell phone, please join. You can use if you don't have a cell phone, you can use your email address too. Just make sure you check your email address relatively frequently. Okay, I'm going to try not to give you guys a remind at noon, and then you guys see me at 12:47. I'll try not to do that as best I can. I would do cell phone number for these text alerts. I prefer remind on my cell phone rather than on a laptop or through email, but to each his own. Okay, and here's what you need to enter. Here's what you need to enter. Or you could go to remind.com and put this in, but you may just want to text this and join. Okay, sounds good. This is being recorded, so this info is going to be the same. And also, I should put this on the Learning Hub. Let me write down that note. Remind info. Cool. Arco, do you want to maybe go to remind.com, see if you can fill that in? If you go to remind.com, you should be able to put your info in, like your email address or something. Yeah, go to remind.com, see if you can put that info in. I just know how to do it from a cell phone. Welcome. I'll go back to this slide. I'll go back to the slide just so you guys know. Okay. Tomorrow, bring back the Who I Am assignment. Okay, bring the Who I Am assignment in every day until we finally scan it and get it in, which will probably be on Friday, maybe Thursday. Bring some loose leaf paper or some notebook to take notes. Okay, the supervisors, you can hand out the algebra review. Students, it's not due tomorrow. Your algebra review is not due tomorrow. I just wanted to give it to you guys to start getting to work on it. It's all Algebra 1 level material. Just relax. You should be able to complete it pretty well. It's just the algebra level we expect for you guys from you guys walking into the class. Okay, so it's not due tomorrow. It'll be due later on. You'll scan it. It'll all be fine, but just wanted to give it to you. So we are doing some math today. If you missed yesterday, okay, please watch recording 1 from yesterday. Please watch the recording 1. That's very important. The algebra review is not due for several days, so you've got plenty of time. It's only 10 minutes, 20 seconds, something like that. All right, let me go back to the remind info. If you guys have any questions, please put it in the chat, and have a great day.